Hey everyone, and yes, your eyes are not betraying you. This is Planet Coaster. I'm back! I'm building something in the good old Planet Coaster. However, this is actually setting up to be a comparison build for Planet Coaster 2. Yes indeed, I wanted to have a build that is comparable to the new game once we have hands on it. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is relatively simple. I didn't want to be spoiled by any of the new mechanics and then have to go back into Planet Coaster, you know? I wanted to make sure that this is built before I have more than just that 90 minutes I was playing in the playtest, and actually have the same old feeling of Planet Coaster. Now, let me also give you a couple of things that are important for this build. I'm not going to do any kind of 4-meter method. I have no mod installed. I will not use any TMTK items. I'm not going to theme that anyways too much. I'm not going to use any trick or I don't know, I don't want to call it trick, but like kind of workarounds we found to make things better. I'm using the vanilla Planet Coaster game and I'm building the coaster as intended. So I'm not using the 4-meter method. I'm not using any of the shaping tricks. I'm not going to use any of that kind of things we have invented over the time to make coasters better. The reason why I'm not doing this is relatively simple. I want to have a out-of-the-box comparison. I want to have a comparison of a coaster that I would build exactly the way after the game has been released. And with all my knowledge, obviously, I learned over the time, so obviously the layout is a lot better than I used to do them. It's still not perfect, not even remotely perfect, but also the shaping and all that. I'm not really paying too much attention to that because I want to keep it real. The more you go into it, the more you go involved into it, it would potentially become less of a fair comparison for a lot of people out there. I will do a in-depth comparison of simple segments and stuff like that, but the problem is I'm not the pro in that one. You are better off with watching Sylph or other people who really know what they're talking about when it comes to the coasters themselves, and this is why I'm specifically doing this comparison over here. This is why I am building the coaster and not like asking Sylph again, which I usually do for like proper builds. I usually ask Sylph or so to build me a coaster because like he's just so much better at that and his layouts are so much better. I'm improving over time, and if you know how I built coasters at the beginning of Planet Coaster, there is even no comparison. I'm much better than that by now, but it still isn't very great. Now, what I wanted to do with this build, next to the coaster layout that is relatively simple, is I wanted to build an area that makes use of most of the basic in-game components, just like pathing, just like, landscaping and the different textures and actually what you can achieve relatively quickly. So this very build over here was exactly, let me just have a look to showcase this exactly. That was, let me check the details, 1 hour and 19 minutes I was having on that one. So approximately an hour and a half. Let's say that's kind of the target time I'm opting for. And I want to see what I can achieve in that same time. So to make it really a fair comparison with the new game then. Because I have the feeling that this is where the new game will shine. This is exactly where Planet Coaster is going to shine, if they fix the UI issues, by the way, but that's a different story. I really think this may be the bestest comparison you can have because it is so fair. I mean, at the end of the day, it is not fair if you use all these invented techniques like the 4-meter method or afterwards with modding the 1-meter technology or technique, I should say, to make sure that your coaster and shaping is good. The way smoothing, forward and backward smoothing, which is now an option in the new game, but it hasn't been in here, so I haven't used that. So to really keep it straight down to the in-game tools, obviously I did a couple of fixes here and there, to make the shaping a bit better. Something you would be able to do right out of the box, but not more than that. However, I will say that I'm very confused. Maybe this coaster type is also very forgiving. Granted, I know that this is one of the more forgiving coasters. This is also why I chose that one. And also because I'm aware that we will have this in the second game. But I must say that the smoothness of the coaster is okay. Like, it's not too bad. You'll have a proper POV at the end of the video, so don't worry about that. But it really is okay. I was really wondering why. So, I don't know. Actually, I have no reason. Maybe this is because I'm bad at the 4-meter technique, and whenever I did this, my results weren't as good as they could be potentially. I kind of thought that this is why this result over here is so much better now. I thought maybe that's the reason, because lately when I've tried to build proper coasters, and I have a couple of those on my hard drive, but like they're all shabby, and so I'm not going to show them off. But like this one is way better than all of these, and this is achieved by using, well, I guess by playing the game how it was meant to be, if that's the case. But yeah, also next up is the pathing, as you can see. I will be trying these kind of things to see again how forgiving the new game is and how good the new game is with pathing. So this is going to be very interesting to see what you can pull off. And I can already tell that specifically the pathing will be a bajillion times better. Like, let alone that you can now paint and outline exactly the areas that you want to have, will give you so much more freedom to make the pathing plaza so much more accurate than what I did over here. I will obviously go and try to build pretty much the same. So I was going for also a scenery that I thought I could be doing with the pieces available. So I'm not going to do anything crazy with the theming. We do have a little bit of a theming for the station. I tried a bit of a zigzag course here for the queue, because I figured that this was relatively hard to achieve in Planet Coaster 2 as far as I was testing it. So I'm very interested to see how that one works out. But yeah, as I said, I was then giving the coaster station a bit of a theming. Like, it's not even theming, it's just like a building. I will eventually do a second episode. If you guys find this interesting and want to have it, let me know in the comments down below to give the, to give the video the proper acceleration it needed. So if you want to see more, and I should go on and theme this ride a bit better, let me know in the comments, and make sure to, like the video and share it and whatever to make it go. And I will potentially do a bit more of theming for this coaster, which I will have to do then for the second one too. I did a little bit of curb trick over here, because I just wanted to see if that works in the second one too. It's like, it doesn't have a real purpose. The real purpose of this build so far is to have a comparison, and this is why I did a lot of these things that I wanted to test. Like, for example, this raised path area over here with the area is interesting. I wanted to see what I can do with the gizmo, how much this works or not, how glass pieces will work. This is why this is going to have a glass roof over here. So really everything I was doing was already with Planet Coaster 2 in mind, to see what this game will be capable of in the same amount of time. And yes, given I think it's also a very fair comparison, because I'm kind of rusty in Planet Coaster as well. So it took me longer than it should be, because I didn't really know where the pieces were. I was awfully confused by the separation of scenery and building. And honestly, we will have the same issue in the second game again. And I'm still not sure why. This is so confusing. Like in Planet Zoo, that was all properly fixed, because the building tab literally had all the building pieces. Okay, a couple of those are in facilities, but these are only the facility-related pieces, which is a lot more easy to understand. But in this game, you have items in shops and facilities, in scenery, and in buildings, which again will be the same thing in Planet Coaster 2, which, I don't know, it is so odd, changing all these menus. And specifically, when we know that at the moment at least, the UI is so broken that you will actually always have to open the menu whenever you need a new piece. It is ridiculous. So as you can see over here, this is the best example, by the way. I'm just manipulating this piece now, and you can see how the menu stays open. And whenever I want to change the piece, I can just scroll down and change the piece. And in the second game, that is not possible, because whenever you put down a piece, like this, for example, the menu now would be gone. And now, as you can see, I just simply switched out the piece on the fly, and it remained in the same, as you can really tell there, it just remains in the same place as the previous column was, and that's exactly what it should do, and the menu just stays open. While in the second game, it just always disappears, and there's this little kind of open button down on the bottom part of the screen, which makes no sense at all, and it just kind of drove me nuts during the playtest, which is the reason why I didn't spend more time building. So yeah, I did a couple of little things over here, putting a fence in. Yeah, I was looking for a net, and I didn't know if we had netting, but at the end of the day, I think it was mesh I was looking for. And then, oh boy, then I was shockingly reminded of the fact how little rocks we have in this game. Like, oh boy, I'm so much into Planet Zoo, and also Planet Coaster 2 will have so many more. Like, this will be already one of the areas where the new game will look so dramatically better when it comes to not only the textures of the nature area, like because we have, instead of 6 textures, we will have 17 textures, which blend a lot nicer into each other. So that is going to look a lot better. But then also, the next bit is going to be the rocks itself. Like they just like look so much better. They also have a different coloring option. You can change the shading of these rocks. It is going to be ridiculous how much better that is. And building this coaster reminded me so much of how much better this new game actually is. It's always this kind of romantic connection to an old game you have, and I do think that a lot of the people out there who were claiming that it looks so much similar and doesn't really give that proper leap forward, and I would just straight up say most of these people haven't played Planet Coaster in the last 6 to 12 months. And honestly, looking at the Steam charts, this may very well be true, because obviously this game is not really played that much anymore, which, you know, for an 8-year-old game, that makes sense. But this is also why a lot of people should actually boot up Planet Coaster again and then think over what they've said one more time, because playing in here and building in here, the lack of pieces, like honestly, you didn't notice until you notice how many pieces we had in Planet Zoo. It's no comparison even. That is ridiculous. But anyways, we're almost through with the build, and I will put in a lovely little POV at the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed this little surprising Planet Coaster thing over here. Again, let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more, and I'm very happy to say that this is going to be our comparison coaster. It doesn't have a name yet, so give it a name if you want to, but now enjoy the POV, and thank you so much for watching.